Hurricane, a tidal wave, essence perfect, life looks brilliant, give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You're firing me, yeah, you're firing me, You've got me hypnotized, push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. Whoa. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, brother, like it's got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to your AEW Double or Nothing post show with myself, Astrid, and my guest tonight, the great Kimi Soko. How are you, Kimi?
I am fantastic. We are here. Are we shocked that AEW ran nearly a 6-hour card, including the pre-show? No. I saw Bryan Alvarez had tweeted that AEW needs to look into 2-night shows, and I don't know if I'd go that far, but there was definitely some matches that I would have cut from this show to make it a little shorter, but I'm here. I'm hyped.
You're hyped and I'm sleepy. I'm glad I'm up tomorrow. This is the reason why we're doing this show. I've only been up awake for a W pay-per-view like this, and that was when I was there for when Becky, Ronda, and Charlotte were the main event of WrestleMania.
Oh my god,
because it was past midnight.
Yeah, and then it was like they had to beat the rain. I was there too. They had to beat the rain. That was crazy.
Yeah, that's the only WWE pay-per-view I've been up past midnight. So AEW, we got some explaining to do here. Come on.
I went to Double or Nothing last year, right? And when I was on the West Coast, it was great because we got out at like 9 o'clock. This was before I started doing media scrum, so I actually got to enjoy the Vegas night. Now that I'm home on the East Coast, this sucks. Don't do this.
Auntie Collins here. Yes, I had to steal Kimmy from one night because I don't get to do stuff with Kimmy often. So when she says she could do it, I say, well, why not? I haven't done anything with Kimmy yet.
This is true. Listen, June, I got to come back to Honor Ramble at some point for my monthly appearance. Collins, we got to talk.
Yes, we do. Let's see. Did you get to watch the buy-in matches?
I did.
Yes. Okay. So let's start off with the women's match because to be honest, I would have put this as the second match and as the opener. To be honest, because it had more of the crowd into it than the second match. But we'll talk about that in just a moment. It was Thunder Rosa versus Deonna Purrazzo with technically the opener for Double or Nothing weekend here. So I love that the ladies are opening and having the crowd, and they had such a great crowd reaction for this one. I was really happy that they were really awake for this one. I'm glad they were. I was just saying towards like the beginning of the night to put it like that because the crowd was really into it. And I really enjoyed this one. it's one of those like I know there has to be a rematch in there somewhere because of how it ended, but these two, Auntie Collins, love you two together. We do too. Oh, we did at the same time.
That was crazy. See, we're already in sync. This was meant
See,
to be.
there you go. But no, I like these two together and the chemistry they have. I love Thunder Rosa with the Elvis Presley attire, and so she said thank you to to the camera at one point. But they had a good back and forth here, and it just I really enjoyed it. It had such good energy and pacing to it. I really enjoy this. Um, I think obviously the and it to itself is that Deonna was holding on to the ropes and the referee didn't see it for the pin, so she stole that win from Thunder Rosa in that aspect. So we definitely see a rematch happening in the future. What? How did you feel about this match to be the opener of the show, though?
So
Technically.
when it was announced for the buy-in, I remember I was actually really shocked that it wasn't on the main card because they'd been building to
Hmm.
this for quite a while. It wasn't just like the other match we saw on the buy-in that was built yesterday on Collision, or 2 days ago technically, because it's 12:53 in the morning. And the other thing too, obviously with the finish, I understand why we didn't have a stipulation the first time around, but I thought we were gonna get a stipulation here. But this was a lot better than I honestly expected. And like you said, the crowd was really into this one, like a little bit more than I expected, because usually the Vegas crowd, it's hit or miss. Either they're really into everything, and we saw it throughout the night. Either they're really into crap, or they're like, yeah, we don't care. Like let's just move on. But I'm excited. I think the thing is also there's a certain pal of Deanna's that we're kind of waiting to come back. My bestie pal Britsky. So I think that's gonna play a role into it whenever Brit is cleared. Again, I don't know what
Hmm.
her situation is. I've heard too many things at this point. But yeah, this was good. Good opener, but I would have definitely moved it to the main show.
HPC back guys. Oh no, I gave you that Iron Punch to Astrid. This is just my carpal tunnel that's acting up because I've been typing on my phone all the notes for tonight. Well, that didn't help. So,
I thought you
Mike the
were doing
ref.
your Roman Reigns, like
No, I
how he
wish.
does the
I wish I had a better explanation for this, but I don't. Better than I expected. Words to be used a lot tonight. Well, yeah. And this is RKS Shuttle. No, RK Shuttleworth. There you go. I am rewatching it now, actually. If you want to thank you, it happens when I type too much, and doesn't help that I do computer stuff quite often, so it hits on some point. Um, but yeah, the only thing, the next match, this is one that I could have done without tonight. To be honest,
They could have had this
I
on Ring of Honor.
yeah, you could have. Yeah, this is one of those that I could have gone anywhere else because I didn't care for it. To be honest, get the tables. Thank you for stopping by. Oh, oh, we got the ray from there. There we go. Thank you. Sorry, I'm not logged into the OLE Twitch, so I can't even see that point of view. So, thank you for the ray at the tables. Um, yeah. So we had the next one for the buy was the Acclaim versus Cage of Agony, or as they kept saying, like Cage of Anarchy, as they kept saying in the during commentary, because it was pretty funny to just listen to that. Um, yeah, this was one of those that I was like, I could have done without it happening in the buy-in. I could have done without this being on the card at all. Oh you gave me a rate too. Sorry, Mike. Like I said, I'm not logged in on the OLE Twitch. I'm on mine, so I can't see any rates right now. Thank you for stopping by. That was a real shit show.
I agree.
I think that's the best way to describe this match. To be honest, is I really don't have any other way. I even at one point there was I think he was trying for a clothesline. Billy Gunn was trying to take Brian Cage out of the ring, and it just didn't happen. They were just hanging from the top rope.
There were so many awkward points of this match that it just felt like everyone was confused. And I was like, "Hi." I was like, "What is happening here?" His rap, like every rap he's had for the last couple months, have sucked. I'm hoping with the Owen Hart tournament that we get Anthony Bowens
Mhm.
entered in the tournament to give him a little bit of a singles run. Max Caster goes away for a little bit. I agree with that. But yeah,
Mhm.
we could have done with that. This could have been on Collision. This could have been on Dynamite. This could have been, like I said, this could have been on Ring of Honor. Like the Gates of Agony have been very featured on Ring of Honor. He always looks off. I don't know what's happening anymore. Can we just get him off? I mean, I saw him. He was at the con I was working
Mhm.
2 weeks ago. He was in a good mood. But like, can you just go away?
Mm.
Anthony Bowens. Anthony Bowens for the Owen Hart tournament. He's probably not going to win, but we could manifest that.
I would like a solo run for Anthony once. Yes, please and thank you, because I don't like him with Max at this point. I am, uh, yeah, it's one of those that I feel like they went out and they did their thing. Their tag title run that they have was decent, and I don't want to see it again. To be honest, it's just like it's moment we just go, boop, and I'll be happy with that. This is one of the few times you will hear me say that I want a team to be split up. So yeah, this match, because I've definitely been part of Dynamite, I would have done without this match tonight. I would have been happy without it happening. Even during my predictions, it was one of those that I was like, I really don't care for it. I don't have a lot to say about it, and really stop giving Caster and chain mics, please.
Jay just takes too long to get to the point. That's Jay's problem. He'll go on, and it's like, the point. Where's the point? I think because in New Japan, like, you could just like speak whatever you want, and everyone loved Jay's promos because he just screams. Like, how many post mental breakdowns have we seen from a Jay Wright press conference in New Japan? You can't do that on Dynamite.
No, but I feel like if it were to say about somebody getting to the point is MJF, we'll talk about that in a little bit though. That's
Oh
a
my
different
God.
one.
We talked about this in our group chat. We were like, why?
Okay, well, we'll get there in just a moment. But first, we got to start with the opener of Double or Nothing officially, which is Roddy Strong versus Will Ospreay for the International Championship. But I want to say Intercontinental International Championship. There we go. I said it. Um, yeah, this one, it's holy crap at the beginning. The bad, like, kind of landing they have for Ospreay there. That definitely just concerned me, even though if we had to stop the match for just a moment to check up on him. Even Mike and Matt, the way they landed all of a sudden, just like, that was so rough. I'm sure Triple H. I'm still blaming the overturn on Jericho. We always blame it on Jericho. That's a safe bet. Okay, there we go. Great match to open for love. It was a high. Yeah, one thing that I loved about this match is like this is the kind of Roddy that I miss seeing, because he went so hard in this match and he did so well. Like the way he was going, the pacing of it, it was just incredible to watch. And I'm glad this was the opener because I feel like it kept the energy up from how it was with Thunder Rosa and Deonna. And then this match is another one that kept it going that way, and I really enjoy that here. And it just like and it just made me laugh at one point because I call them UK the way you did in the chat, so that I always call them UK at this point because I don't want to mess up their name. But we had Undisputed Kingdom coming in at one point, and then Warlow comes in, and the referee's able to see Warlow, so he just he kicks all of them out. And I like that part of Don. The only part I would say with Don Callis is that Don Callis coming in here and telling Ospreay just hit the Tiger Driver, and then he's like, no, he's like, hit it, and he hesitated, but it happened, and just like, and in that moment, and just be in the moment that it's for him to win that championship. I like the storytelling here of like the way, like even his facial expression when he like tried doing it and he could just didn't do it. So that was definitely one of my favorite matches for tonight. How about you?
So I didn't like. So I understood storyline wise why. Oh, that's sweet. So I understand why UK had to get involved several times, but I feel like we've
Yeah.
built Will up so strong. It was a little too long for me. It didn't have like I
Yeah.
feel like it went 10 minutes of just Will getting beat down by the Undisputed Kingdom. It didn't need to go as long as it did.
Mm-hmm.
It should have just been a little quicker. But after all that nonsense got out of the way, this was really good. I actually thought they were going to open with the barbed wire steel cage, because usually when there's a stipulation like that, AEW usually likes to open with
Mm-hmm.
that. But I was really happy they went with this instead, especially the
Yeah.
pop that Will got when he won the title. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited for that. But I get confused with Don Callis because it's like he's with Will, and he's like, oh, we finally have gold. Kyle Fletcher has gold. Did you forget? He's your
Yeah,
TV champ.
he's a redheaded stepchild. That's why.
I like his I like his blonde though. It's very bright. After seeing it in person, I was like, that is blonde.
Yeah,
Crap.
but that's a good point though, because I just like, why would you not count Kyle in there because of the Ring of Honor championship? Because what's different from one or the other one? Hmm? Hmm? I want to know.
I've been wondering the same question. Because the other thing too is like I feel like Dawn is like kind of moving on from Will. That is true. That belt is silver. The other ones are gold. That is true. But I actually thought United Empire was gonna come out here and like Kyle
Hmm.
was gonna help beat down UK to help Will, and then that was gonna be the return of Mark Davis. But we have yet to get an injury report from him too. But Don Cal's like isn't really with Will, but he's always with Kyle or Hob. Well, not Hobbs anymore because he's hurt. So it's like, is Will even with Don Callis? Is he forgetting? Come on, Tony.
Uh, I don't know at this point. If only TK could answer these questions for us, that would be lovely right about. But yeah, right after the match, we get Adam Cole coming out, and I was just like wondering why is this man coming out because he has nothing advertised for tonight. This is not Dynamite. You can just go down with it to another match. So this is the part. The only thing that I don't like about this aspect is just we'll talk about it like the whole thing, but having him come out, he starts doing it's like, oh, we're gonna have story time with Adam Cole, and I went, oh no, this is gonna take too long. No, I don't need this right now. It's too early in the pay-per-view for this. And then if they cut anything, it's gonna get cut from the women's match like usual. So it's like I don't want this to be going on for too long. And then all of a sudden he just has the mask in his hands and it's the devil mask, and then we see all of a sudden there's a room with a hallway, and then we get down the room and we get to this room that has MJ's memorabilia in AW so far. From like the suit to the ring. And what was the other thing that he? And I had like
They had the painting of him whipping Cody Rhodes.
and the Nightmare Family thing in the background too. So it's like I like the little Easter eggs kind of thing of like in the dog collar of the Easter eggs from his career in AEW so far. So I like that, but I like how the room is just everything's on the walls, and the only thing in the middle is like the suit, and just like you look at the suit, and then we get the music from MJF coming out, and this is when we get to the earlier comment. If I can scroll up for a little, which is the MJ Triple H, because he went with the jean jacket a la the Triple H 2002 return. So it was pretty fun just watching that happen. And I thought, oh no, MJF's coming out. It's going to take a while for him to get to his point. So there goes like the whole promo. It's all his time on him. But he's back, and he's like, for those of you marks that probably didn't notice, I'm still on the contract. He's like, oh, like we didn't know that was not going to happen. But of course it happened. But at least he got to the point pretty quickly. It wasn't too bad. He showed off his new Dynamite tattoo. Bet on yourself with the with the whole dice. And I'm trying to not think about this tattoo, but this is probably the only time I will think about it. Hopefully. Yeah. So he's back and basically getting remains. Like the only thing I gave you was trust. So now he's gonna go against Adam Cole. Like finally that we're gonna get this feud continuing for what we had before, because obviously they were both injured that this was happening. So continue this like devil-ish storyline because it's there, but it's not at the same time. How did you have similar thoughts about this promo happening in the middle of this when this could have happened at Dynamite?
So it was funny because I wasn't sure if Adam was there. Because I thought Adam was going to come out during the... Because how I originally thought this was going to happen is that Adam Cole was going to be accompanying Roddy, and then MJF was going to help Will win. And then that was going to be it without the promo or anything. So when Adam first came out, I was like, oh, what if he's announcing he's cleared? Like, I was like so hopeful. I was like, maybe this is it. He was walking a lot better. He had 2 sneakers on. Commentary made mention of that. And then I was like, oh, I see the mask in his pocket. Oh no. This no. So I think the other, like, my problem was this promo could have been on Dynamite. I understand why you did it on the pay-per-view because, you know, it was rumored all day this big thing's going to happen in the beginning, and you needed like a big surprise. I mean, we got Juice later on, but this was like your big star because there were so many people that could have returned tonight, and it like Hangman Adam Page, Britt, Jamie, Juice. There were so many people, so I get why you did it here. But you could have just had him show the tattoo and then like show an MJF
the tattoo.
Yeah. Hey, Collins had a good point. At least it's not on his neck.
I agree with that.
You can hide that kind of easily on like Mr. Rhodes, but I mean my other problem, yes, Triple H. I was 1 year old by the way when this Triple H thing happened. So yeah, fun facts. But my other problem is Adam's not cleared. So when are we having this match?
Yeah, and if you notice, it's like, "Did I break you, baby?" The way he said it, it just made me laugh. It really got me when this happened.
Because my other idea is, what if MJF wins the Owen, and then he like challenges Swerve? I'm assuming he's still going to be champion, and then MJF beats Swerve, and then it's MJF versus Cole for the title at All Out.
Oh, sure. I feel bad for Swerve if that happens, though.
I mean, I don't know anymore.
That's the only thing I do. Yeah, the thing that he said that really stood out to me was the part that he said, "I don't need New Japan. I also don't need Vince McMahon." And I was like, "MJF makes MJF." And it's like, that was clever. I'll give you that. And just like you made me laugh and you made me like think about it, how clever you are. You can leave now, okay? But again, I would have done with like the lights turning on and off, him attacking Adam Cole and just leaving and leaving us with those questions of like, why is he here? Didn't he his contract expired? All those things leave us with all these questions, and then have that promo on Dynamite. This is one of those things that it could have happened during the show and just leave us intrigued until Wednesday. Like I could have done that. So I was surprised when I just gave a promo in the middle of a pay-per-view like this. Oh my god.
Or
I'm glad it didn't take too long.
or the media scrum. I'm sure
Yeah.
he's on it.
Probably. Well, no, a little bit. Well, I think it started by now. But
I'm sure I'll get a text.
yeah, either way, it's just something that I feel like you could have kept the intrigue until Wednesday at least when it came to like the explanation and the answers and everything. It was fun. I don't get me wrong, but I at the same time I could have done without, and I could have cut it out from there and that in on Dynamite. But at least right after this, we had the Bang Bang Gang versus Death Triangle for the Unified World Trios Championship. I said the suspense would have taken away from the rest of the show. That's why I said it's like I kind of get it, but at the same time I could have done without this part because it just I think of a promo during a pay-per-view and it's like just don't take too long though. That's the only thing because I just feel like it takes up the rhythm from the rest of the show, and that was the only promo that we had like that.
Like it's like when Punk did that promo on NXT, like the pay-per-view when it was like him and Shawn Michaels, like that was really
Yeah.
awkward. And it was for no reason whatsoever. It was just for like,
Yeah.
oh my god, the pop that CM Punk is here. Like it's the same thing.
Yeah, and they took too long to like really get to the point of what it was, and there was nothing to it. So I was like, that one's even worse because they had no point to it. So it's worse than this. But yeah, but right after this, we had the Trios Championship. This one again is just one of those that I love the pacing and seeing Death Triangle reuniting. I love seeing this. I love seeing Ospreay with the matching gears. The pacing was amazing. I really enjoyed it. And we had Jay White at one point. It was Death Triangle versus Jay White at one point because he was totally by himself in that corner. Then I felt really bad for him until we get the returning Juice Robinson that came in and assisted there. So I'm glad that that happened. And he was, I was going to say that force there to help out at the end for the Bang Bang Gang to retain their championships. As Mike says, MJF trying to get Jericho's time cut by a little bit of the Lord's work. I agree.
Oh my god, we'll get there. So I've been very lucky enough in my convention part of my job to be very close friends with the Luchas. So just seeing them back on TV together, I was so happy. Phoenix slipped in his entrance. I don't know if anyone else saw it. And
I
was
noticed.
dying. I was like, "Oh, buddy, why? I get you were so excited, but come on." I really like this match. I don't like that they like waited till the last minute to make it like the trios world championships. They announced it yesterday or 2 days ago, and I was like, why couldn't you do that on Wednesday? It's not like you care about these trios titles. They're also the Ring of Honor trios titles, and they haven't been on Ring of Honor since winning them. The only Ring of Honor appearance they made was on Supercard of Honor, and that was because Tony Khan was like, hey, we have this title that you could, we can have another match on this pay-per-view. But this was good. I liked the Juice thing. As soon as it was reported, I think everyone knew where Juice was going to return. I do definitely see them getting another match out of this. I don't think this is the one and done. I think we're going to see this again, and the second time or the third time, that's when Death Triangle is going to win.
Yeah, and I really like the face off here between Jay and Pac at that one point, even though it wasn't too long, obviously just to give us that little tease there. But again, this was one of those that I really enjoyed, and I'm glad it happened. Right after this, we had Toni versus Serena. This one I was torn about because the crowd was kind of quiet for Serena, and she's the face here. And if you think about it, and we have more Toni chants than anything. I don't know at this point. I don't know really. Technically, I feel like Toni's the heel, but it's just at one point that people love her so much that she feels like a face.
So I said this on another pod I did earlier this week that I felt like the crowd honestly didn't care about this match, and it's no disrespect to Serena or Toni, but like I go back to I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago that Serena was cutting that amazing promo with Renee talking about how she overcame all this stuff, and the crowd didn't care. Like they were just chanting for Toni, and I was like, this was not the right challenger for Toni because you really didn't build Deeb up since returning. She had a couple matches, and then she just came out of nowhere on the Dynamite Homecoming, like, I want a title match, and I'm like, okay, what have you done to get a title match, Serena? But despite all of that, I thought this match really delivered. I agree with you. The crowd was really quiet, and especially because it didn't the crowd didn't need to die down. The trios tag match wasn't like taking so much out of the crowd, and I don't think the International Championship did that either. But I did find it interesting that Mariah was trying to throw in that towel, and then Luther got blamed.
Yeah.
So are we starting to see the dissension? Is it happening? Is Mariah going to turn on Toni? Because I think at Forbidden Door, she's going to face Mariah's friend. I always forget her name from Japan.
Mina?
Yeah, I think that's going to be the match at Forbidden Door, and I think that's when Mariah's going to choose a side, and I think that's when Mariah's going to turn on Toni.
Yeah, and for this match, and this is what I was telling my brother who was watching the pay-per-view with me, it's just like, how do we care about Serena? Like you said, when she returned, she had a couple matches, but my brother's like, okay, it's her thing and her gear and everything says Deeb's dojo. She should have a couple students going behind her to like make me look like she has a dojo. And so she's supposed to be a professor. Where are her students? We don't have any kind of visual of anything about her. All we know is that she has seizures and she just came back. I'm like, is that enough for us to really care about her though? And I feel like character-wise, if you don't give us any background on her aside from the seizures, we're not really going to care about her. And you can tell in this match when she's looking at the crowd at one point, and the crowd isn't chanting for her. They're chanting for Toni the whole time. And I feel bad for her in that aspect because you're thinking this is the challenger. She should be kind of a little bit split. We saw that with Mercedes and Willow. That crowd was literally split. But with her, there was nothing for her whatsoever when it came to support. And that's when I kept thinking, we don't know much about her character. There's nothing much to it. We always seen is her having matches. I'm like, she's great in the ring, but we don't know about her story or anything like that. And here, SCG, what did Mercedes do to get a title match? To be honest, the TBS Championship is an open challenge championship. That's my answer when it comes to that part.
Toni said that in one of the press conferences that the TBS and the TNT, they don't apply to the rankings, but nothing applies to the rankings because we haven't seen them.
Oh, wait. HBC, not enough people know the talent she produced. Yeah, exactly. I feel like we don't know any kind of backstory about her, like in the program at least. And if we're thinking about the AEW fans, they don't know about her like that. So it's like, they're not going to care for her. They don't know about her. And obviously we haven't seen that on screen to like really show us that we should care about her in that aspect. And I'm not saying not me, but I'm saying like in general.
That's why I honestly thought she should have went to Ring of Honor. And I thought she should have had a feud with Athena. Because I felt like that would have fit her a little bit more. Most of the matches that she was having was on Collision anyway. So it's not like she wasn't there. She's on their travel loop. So I'm hoping that that's where she goes from here. I hope that she goes down to Ring of Honor. I just think everything fits better for her. The style of wrestling. There's so many women down there for her to face. I originally thought that she was going to wrestle Athena at Supercard of Honor. Maybe we do that at Death Before Dishonor. Toni, I'm booking your show for you. Just give me the book.
And this is exactly how I felt. I felt for Serena. She's a great technical wrestler by no build. And yeah, that's how I felt. Just like the part that people don't have a story to like hang on to with her character wise. So, and look at who's here. Just popping in to say hello, to say I love you. Hello, ma'am. And CG says, what rankings? Yeah, they're just non-existent at this point. They were here for like a week or two and then gone again.
Maybe that's the question I asked Toni at Forbidden Door. What happened to your rankings? Well, Kimmy, I just got so busy. Yeah, okay. Thanks, Anthony.
You don't have people in the background that can do that for you?
You would think so.
I don't know.
He talks about his booking committee all the time.
Yeah. Next after this, we had Orange Cassidy versus Trent Beretta. This is one of those that I'm surprised it didn't have like a gimmick to it somehow, because I feel like that would have really worked for this match, because what I loved about it is how hard hitting they were with each other. Like you definitely tell like they were just like friends and now we became enemies. You could see that here in this throughout this whole match. I didn't even have notes for it because I just loved how like hard hitting was, the back and forth they have with each other. I just really enjoyed it so much. But I'm just surprised it didn't have anything like hardcore to it, to put it like that. But This one at the end we have with Orange Cassidy winning. I just feel bad for Trent as a heel just losing already like that. That's the only part I was kind of torn about because I like Orange Cassidy winning, but I feel like Trent could have used the win as well. So I was like, I would have no who to pick for that one.
So it's funny because commentary made mention of this, that he was wearing a black shirt for the first time and his glasses were
Mm-hmm.
darker. The jean he was wearing was even a little darker than usual. And I remember a couple
Yeah.
years ago, Orange and I were talking at a con. He said to me, he goes, "When I start wearing black, it's over. Like, you're going to see a whole new attitude." And I was like, "Thank you for telling me that." And I've been waiting for so long. It's 2 years ago. I'm like, "Are you ever going? Or were you just telling me that? Like, come on, Orange."
Yeah.
But like you said, I do agree this should have had a stipulation. I originally thought it was going to happen because I also thought obviously it's been confirmed Chuck can't wrestle anymore, but I thought he was going to do like the littlest thing, like hit Trent with a chair or like punch him with like knucks or something, like something very minimal that like he could still do by like standing still and not like moving around. Or I thought that Don Callis was going to align himself with Trent Beretta instead. And it was going to be like all a
Yeah.
mind game, like, "Oh, Orange, I was just telling you all this to like get in your head." But
Mm-hmm.
none of those things happened. But I'm conflicted because Trent, after the match, was like, "Bye, I'm leaving." It's like, "Where are you going?
Yeah.
Are you going to Ring of Honor? We have a spot. We have a
Yeah,
whole
we're
pure
gonna.
division."
I think it was Renee that was gonna interview him, and Rocky came by, and he's like, "I'm leaving. I'm leaving." And Rocky said, "It's not the time, not the time," and he just left. But I thought maybe the only thing I could think of that maybe I thought would happen here was I thought could have Don Callis in here somewhere, just to like thinking of like him influencing Orange Cassidy now that he had the darker clothing and everything. That's what I thought would happen. So SCG, what was Chuck's injury that forced him into retirement? I really don't know because when they announced it, I really thought this was kind of like kayfabe kind of thing. So I didn't even think it was real when it happened. It just took me a couple of like moments to like realize that it was true. But I don't even know. Like they just knew, I guess, the parking lot brawl was gonna be his last match, and then just announced of like he's done. And I don't know. I don't even know what the injury is.
I think on TV they said ankle or foot. Now, what they say on TV and what's in real life is sometimes two different things.
Okay.
But I'm like 95% sure that Orange had said because of because of his ankle, he cannot compete anymore.
Yeah, I don't remember I don't remember anything when it comes to that part. So I remember when it happened, I just wanted to cry because I thought, no, I can't believe this is the end. And if they said anything, I blinked out afterwards. So don't ask me anything.
They
I
didn't
was
even
so
win the
concentrated
tag
on the
titles.
news. I was so concentrated on the news at the moment, so I couldn't think of anything else. I was like, can I cry now? But
Where's
maybe I
Collins?
should
Where's
have
the
cried.
cry meter? Come on,
I have it
Collins.
here somewhere. Where's my crying meter? This was a little bit of my crying meter at that time. At that time when I heard that Chucky's out and I went, what? Did I hear that correctly? And then I had to go to Twitter to see if I was the only one that heard that. Just so it took me a moment to process. I feel like I'm still processing it, to be honest. Um, Next after this, we had the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho versus Hook versus Shibata for the FTW Championship. Uh,
Can
I don't know
this have
how.
not been on the card?
Thank you. I think the only part that was like really like I don't want to say hurtful, but realistic, I guess if we would say, is the back of the dice because it reminds you of the Legos. That really hurts. That's the only part that would be like I get that. Uh, but there was just like moments of like, for example, we had Jericho waiting a little bit too long there for when they were gonna hit him with the table when they were splashing onto him. So you can see him in the background just holding his arms, just like he's like, "Is it going now? Now? Is it happening now?" And even when I did my predictions, I was thinking I had two options. Either I was thinking either Big Bill gets taken out, or something happens and he's out, and we get somebody else coming in this match to interfere. But I couldn't think of who. I really couldn't. I tried, but I really didn't have anybody in mind. And then at one point we get that Hook has a submission on Jericho. Big Bill comes in and he elbows Hook so that way he doesn't win. And Hook comes in and suplexes Big Bill onto the table. And even Sean Ross Sapp posted the picture of how close he was to getting hit
He
with that
almost
table on the
died,
legs.
guys.
I,
Literally
I
almost died.
that bothered me really. So we have Shibata has a figure four on Jericho, but then Hook has a submission on Jericho as well. And again, they don't want the thing that happened before to happen again. So we have somebody interfering with a mask on, and it's none other than Bunny Hunter Brian Keith. I'm disappointed.
So at first when I saw the purple, I was like, yo, is it Evil Uno? Are we including the Dark Order back on TV? Let's go. I was so hyped. I'm like, wait, there's no way that's the Dark Order. I'm just being really hopeful. So on commentary, they're like, oh my god, Jericho hired a bounty hunter. So from that point, yes, that made sense. But Brian Keith, why? You were shining in Ring of Honor. Like you could just why like so I didn't think this match should have been on the pay per view or this should have been on the buy-in. Usually the FTW Championship is usually on the buy-in, so I don't know why we changed our mind here to get it on the main card. But I don't like that Bryan's aligning with Jericho. I think it's stupid because he's gonna get trapped in the vortex. He's never gonna get out. It's all downhill from here. It's over.
I didn't like it at all. I was not happy to see this. And then we get Judas effect to Hook, and then obviously Jericho retains. And it's like once I saw Brian Keith, I went, "Oh no, this is not what I hoped it was gonna be." But I guess it happens. And
This
the
is not
Jericho
what we
vortex, it's
wanted.
all about him. Yes, it's all about him. Nobody else. That's how it goes.
We're
Yeah,
living in Jericho's world and we need to get out of it. Can Fozzy go on like a year's worth of tours?
I mean, they're going on a tour soon, but still, he's going to be wrestling with Swerve as a special guest. I was like, that doesn't help me at all.
Oh, isn't that during All-In weekend? They're doing it in the UK, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. I hate to break it to you, but yes, it's happening. This is another match to me that I could have done without, and I would have put it on Dynamite. Don't get me wrong, the match was good, but it's an eliminator match. I would have done this on the regular card, and that was John Moxley versus Takeshita, IWGP World Heavyweight Championship eliminator match. Yes, I was able to say all that. Okay, yeah, this is one of those I would have done on a Dynamite. I do like the part of Takeshita just taking that target on the injury that Moxley already has throughout the match. I love seeing that. It's like the way he just unwraps his whole thing, does anything he can do to hit him on his like shoulder area. I love seeing that. I'm like, yeah, yes, you have your focus. I'm glad it happened that way. And even at that one point, he does a Death Rider to Moxley too, and I was like, again, loved it too. That was very well done. But if I'm not mistaken, they introduced the chair, and then the way they used the chair, and then all this mess happened. It was like, and at the end for Moxley to win, it just reminded me so much of the how is it the ground, is it ground rules that you have for Ring of Honor? I keep forgetting the name.
Oh, Proving Grounds. Our Proving Ground matches.
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of, and it's like,
we
why?
never proved grounds.
It never happens. Why are we doing this?
So I had said that if they couldn't get anyone from New Japan for Forbidden Door for whatever reason, this was their out of getting Moxley to wrestle somebody, because obviously Takeshita signed to AEW. It was an eliminator match. If Takeshita would have won, okay, you have the match at Forbidden Door. So I thought, okay, this was a good plan B. And I think the only reason that they had... Listen, I like the Jericho cruise. I'm going on it again next year. So I would like to dock back on land. I don't want to live on a cruise my whole life. But I think the reason that they had this match is because they obviously wanted Moxley, because it's the 5 years of him debuting in the company, and they showed that, I believe, 2 days ago on Collision. They showed like the side by side of like, oh my god, Moxley debuted 5 years ago. Look how much he's done. But no eliminator match. I would have done it for the title. I understand that you have to ask New Japan every time you want that title defended, but like, come on, really?
You mean to tell me you didn't know when the pay-per-view was happening?
Especially when you have the next pay-per-view with them.
Yeah, I really would have preferred it this would just be straight up a title match, and that's it. No eliminator match in there whatsoever. Just straight up title match. You could have made that happen. I don't know why you didn't, because to me, it would have made sense when like having Moxie there is a 5-year anniversary. It could lead up to something later at Forbidden Door. That would have been fine, but I'm like, okay, it is what it is. I guess I'm still in the out when it comes to AEW logic sometimes. So it's okay. I'm learning my way through it. I don't want you to,
though.
yeah, kind of. I'm like, I watch it semi regularly, so there's still some things that I'm still trying to figure out. But this match was no fit. We didn't have to figure it out because it was amazing, and it was Adam Copeland versus Malakai Black for the TNT Championship Barbed Wire Steel Cage match. There, I was able to say that one too. AEW has logic. I don't.
No.
Sorry, I don't. Kind of.
They don't.
No, this was another one. I really enjoyed this match a lot too. The power bomb through even just the elbow through the table that Adam just went through the top of the cage to do. Holy moly! Even just like wrapping Malachi and the barbed wire on the table before doing this too. House of Black. Every time I write it, I want HOB, and for me, HOB is House of Blues here. So every time I see it, I want to say House of Blues, and it's not. So if I say House of Blues, I apologize. But it's House of Black. The House of Black arrives, and they're standing next to Malachi at one point, but they look at Adam, so they stand next to Adam. They make it seem like they turned on Malachi, but they actually didn't, and they actually end up hitting Adam after this. But the other thing I didn't like about this was the timing because before the lights turned red, Malachi's already going, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" My brother pointed out, it's like he keeps saying, "What's wrong?" before the lights even turned like red and they had the flashing. But once that happened, I knew who was gonna be there, and I'm glad it happened. I'm glad Gangrel was part of this match, and that introduction to him from under the ring to help out Adam at the end, and Adam to do that crossface with the barbed wire to Malachi, only for Malachi to pass out, and then Adam still retains. And I do like that moment even at the top of the ramp because even Gangrel's like, "Here, it's your moment. You know, take be in the center." And he's like, "No, no, no, you're having the moment with me too." And he literally pulled Gangrel to be next to him as this was happening. So all around, I really enjoyed how this happened, and Gangrel being a part of it. I'm glad they made it happen, even if it's just for one night. That's fine, but it made it worth it. That nostalgia was there, but it was a fun match.
This was my favorite match on the card. I felt like the storyline stuff was really there. I felt like the match was really good. I do agree with our newest Twitch comment that I do think it was a botch because he did land on his feet and he landed on the side of the table. It was very awkward. I don't know what it was supposed to be, but it definitely wasn't that. But he rebounded very well. Good job, Adam. But yeah, I do agree. Like literally before the lights go out, he's like looking and waiting. And I'm like, production team, come on. You know he's coming. I know that he was originally supposed to be on a Germany indie show, and a couple
Yeah,
days ago everyone's like, "Oh my god, he was pulled. That means he's coming to Double or
yeah,
Nothing." But this was good. I like the spot too where they aligned with Adam for 0.5 seconds and they beat him down.
yeah.
I know that people have been saying on Twitter, I didn't see his promo from 2 days ago, but I know people were saying like, "Oh, maybe Malakai's leaving AEW and potentially going to WWE." And if this was his last hurrah, like I said, I have no idea. I know a lot of people were saying it. If this was his last hurrah, this was his best match in AEW.
Yeah, I feel like it was really entertaining, and I really enjoyed every bit of this. To be honest, Adam Copeland has been on such a run that it's just unexplainable because the man is doing incredible with every single match. It's like I don't think I've had a bad match since he signed with AEW. To be honest, I've enjoyed all of them so far. I love it. I really love this so much. Next up, we had the Don Callis interview. I was talking to my brother and I missed what he said. I don't know if you noticed what he said, if what announcement
Oh,
he
so
has.
so basically they were talking about like his relationship with Orange. He told Lexi that he's going to give an inside scoop to her, and his inside scoop was that this Wednesday on Dynamite he is going to offer Orange a contract to join the Don Callis family. I do not think he is going to join the Don Callis family. I don't really know what this is going to lead to. Maybe this leads to Moxley and Orange going at it for the or no, that wouldn't make sense. I don't know what this is going to lead to with the Don Callis family. Maybe him and Will at Forbidden Door. I don't think that's going to happen either. Maybe him and Kyle, but not. He's not joining the Don Callis family. He's going to have a match at Forbidden Door versus one of the Don Callis family members.
I was thinking of HPC back as we're saying. I think it leads to Trent joining instead. I was thinking something along those lines too after the match as well, and the way he was just like pushing Rocky away as well. Oh, I also forgot to mention since we're heading out to the TBS Championship match anyway. They mentioned during the buy-in with the Owen Hart Cup that the tournament this year is going to have something different. Both winners, male and female, are gonna get a title shot at whoever wins from each side. So I think it's nice to see that happen. It's nice to see something different to it. Having a world championship match, I feel like it acts the stakes up a little bit. So I really like that it's happening, and I'm glad they actually mentioned that. I think like I would have made a bigger deal out of it because I saw this part of the buy-in. So I don't know if a lot of people noticed that. I know I didn't see it on my timeline as often as it should have been, but I'm glad this is happening.
I'm hyped for this. I think this does add more prestige to the Owen Hart cup because you just get that title belt and like nothing comes of the title belt. They come out with it on the first Dynamite. Listen, I always try to figure out AEW logic and then my brain just explodes because then I talk to stupid people that don't understand AEW logic either, and I'm like, come on guys, like let brain. But they come out with the Owen Hart title for the first Dynamite post, and then we never see it again. So at least we're gonna get something here. But I am interested of when the tournament's starting because we have an end date. We don't have a beginning date. I'm assuming maybe because I know last year it started around Forbidden Door, so maybe around there because the finals is July 10th. I don't know how many people they're looking to put in it, but I would like a start date and a bracket so I could fill it out. I don't even know who I want to win. I don't even know who I want to put in it. Like I need time to prepare.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what to put in there yet. But I know that the end date was July 10th in Calgary. So
Yes.
yeah, we don't have a start date. We don't have a bracket yet. So hopefully this Wednesday they'll decide to give it to us. I figured it has to be at least a month. So they have probably had to announce it this week somehow to make it at least a month tournament. That's what I'm guessing. But either way, I'm glad there's something else to it. There's higher stakes to the tournament. And it's nice to see that happening. That is something different. Hopefully something that decides to keep moving forward. Because it just kind of reminds me of the King and Queen of the Ring in that aspect. And it's nice to get a title shot out of it. So I do like this aspect happening here. Next up, we had Willow Nightingale versus Mercedes Monet. I like how my notes just say Mercedes won. I'm like, I know there's only one Mercedes. Well, not really. There's two in AEW for the TBS Championship. This one was first. I love the looks from both of the ladies. They looked incredible. Especially Willow. I did love her natural hair and everything in her attire. She looked beautiful, and I really enjoyed the part of like the psychology within this match of Mercedes targeting Willow's like ankle. It's like she's bigger than me. Let me take her down a little bit here, and she did any way that she could targeting that ankle there. So I really like seeing that. Um, there was at one point though that Mercedes just like posting nearby outside of the ring, and Chris Statlander is close by, so I figured something was gonna happen. Then she shoves her, and Chris is like, I'm gonna go after her, but then she reminds herself that if she does, then Willow loses. So she comes down from the apron. Nothing's happening there. We're all fine here so far, and yeah, I enjoy the match. I really love the chemistry they have with each other. My only downfall is that I didn't want Willow to lose this soon, the championship. I wish she could have kept it up a little bit longer, but she was going against Mercedes, so I had a feeling Mercedes was going to win this. But to me, I would have been fine with either one of them winning. I just didn't want Willow to lose it yet, at least. Yeah, so we had a moment though in the match that Statlander and Stokely are just arguing with the referee. Mercedes just kind of like in the background, like, and then we get Willow try to do like her power bomb, and it's just the point that she had the 3 count, but the referee was distracted with Stokely and Chris, and I thought, oh no, it's going down here from here, and then we get Mercedes doing the STF, holding up the ankle in the background there, and even the moneymaker at the end for her to win the TBS championship. Again, I really like the match though. It was like I feel like it was really great. Overall, the match, how did you feel about it before we head on to part 2 of this?
I was very nervous because I know a lot of people want this to main event. So the reason I will address this comment in my whole mini rant here. So like I said, a lot of people want this to main event, and I understood it. But I had such a problem with it being for the mid card women's title, and the fact that this was Mercedes' first match, and you didn't know what you were going to get out of Mercedes, because usually your first match back from injury is not a good match. And I was telling people, I'm like, don't be surprised if Willow's going to carry this match, because Mercedes has to get used to wrestling in front of a crowd again. You could train your ass off for months and go to all these different training schools, but doing that and then being in front of a crowd on a pay-per-view, it's a totally different atmosphere. So I was very nervous for that. Mercedes, she didn't look horrible. It's not the Mercedes we've always seen, but it was decent. So it was a lot better than I expected. Really happy about that. I understand because of what happened after why you had to do the Statlander and Stokely spot, but I would have rather them not them do the entrance, them go to the back, and then them come out trying to console her, and then you do the turn instead. Because I felt like they were trying to make this so serious, like, oh, this is Willow's like big moment, And did I really need them for however long the match went to be hitting the mat every 0.5 seconds, being like, "You got this, Willow. Be strong. You can do it." Like I did not need that. I would like we didn't need to do that. But like the reason why she gets the first title shot, like she's gonna take this title everywhere. I just got the notification that she said on the scrum she wants to go to Stardom with this, and she wants to go to Japan. And that's the publicity AEW needs. They put millions of dollars into her. She's gonna take this title to the red carpets, the basketball games, baseball, whatever she does. That's why they're investing the money, because everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, who's this girl? She's champ. I want to go watch AEW." Then you're gonna see the ratings go up. But then the turn, poor Willow had a rough night. Poor girl. I hope she's okay. She lost her two best friends. She lost her title. The hell is happening here?
I knew first, to me, there was a couple of things that gave this away for me. First, the moment that Trent whispered something to Statlander, and I was like thinking, he's telling her that this is it. It's coming up for her soon. That was my first clue that it was happening sooner or later. I just didn't know when. Second, her posting all these pictures of her and Willow throughout their whole friendship on social media today. That was my second clue. It was definitely happening tonight. And then the third one was what I call the Kevin Owens hold. When you hold somebody a little bit too close by their shoulders, the way he held Sammy at TakeOver. So the moment she held her arm, she had it like first like this, and then she moved her arm, and I went, "Oh no, it's happening!" I wanted to turn around, and I was like, "Yep, I almost missed it." But that was the KO hold. If you didn't know it, that's what I call it. When somebody holds you the way Kevin Owens holds Sammy, it's going downhill from there. So once I knew it, the moment that she held her by the shoulders, I went, "Yeah, there you go, SPC3 right, guys. Kevin's debut. Yes, there you go." Once you know that he's doing that, she was doing that Kevin Owens kind of hold to her shoulder. I went, it's happening now, isn't it? I didn't want to see it, but it was happening. And at one point, while they were in the ring, like when Chris Statlander was shoving Stokely, she said, "Not now," or something like that. Not at this time. Like now's not the time, is what she told him. Before that happened, before she took Willow out with her. But once she had that Kevin Owens hold, I was like, it's happening now. She beat down Willow. And you see Stokely in the background, a little bitty Stokely in Keir Statlander's arms in the back of it, and it's like you can see his head popping out and him smiling and laughing, and this is happening. Yeah, I do feel bad that this is happening. Willow has grown on me. I like her. I love her energy. It's like with her entrance and everything. So I definitely enjoyed that. But yeah, I knew this was happening. I just didn't know when, and it's like little by little the pieces started coming together. So I had a feeling it was today. Yeah.
So I said on another pod, I forgot when, maybe a month ago, where I was like, Double or Nothing's technically the 1 year stat coming back. And she just beat Jade. And she had all of the attention. That was her big moment. And then when this whole partnership happened, she took a back seat. We haven't really seen her wrestle besides tag matches with Willow. So I'm really hoping that how they're going to do this is whenever she cuts that promo, I'm assuming it's going to be on Dynamite, but knowing our luck, it's going to be on Rampage. I hope that Statlander's like, last year at Double or Nothing, I had my big moment. And I defeated someone that was undefeated. I brought prestige back to the TBS Championship. And then I took a back seat to your moment, and you didn't get the job done. And I was blind to it all. And I need to get back to who I was. It is going to be on Rampage. I will say that right now. It's going to be on Rampage, and then I'm going to be like, I told you also, because that's like this is literally every time they're like Rampage staples, the three of them. So of course it's going to be. Don't be surprised if this first match is going to be on Rampage between them two. This is the Rampage feud, as I call it. Deonna, Roosh, the Rampage clan. But that's what I need Stat to say in this promo. That I took a back seat. I let you have your moment. Now it's my time to shine. Because I need to get back to who I was when I was TBS champion. Because she's gonna be she's gonna be someone to watch out for this year. I could see her and Toni maybe in a match some point down the line. I could see her challenging Mercedes for the TBS title. I mean they're both heels now, but AEW doesn't really care about that. But Stat's gonna be a big player with this, and I'm really excited to see what she could do with it.
I'm glad you asked this because we have Kimmy here, so she can tell us about DMD. I can't move my hand.
I don't know. I don't know. I literally, me and Sean Ross Sapp, we've talked about this now for I think 2 weeks. I was like, let's see what you know and what I know, and we knew the same information. I'm like, well, this isn't helping us with anything. I honestly think I know Sean said this in a Q&A a couple weeks ago that I like there's part of it that could be creative. I think that is the main reason other than the injuries. I feel like, she's in great shape. I don't know if you saw her at DDP
Yeah.
Yoga. Her abs are popping.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I hope it's soon because
Mhm.
I'm so Brit deprived. I haven't seen her since October in person. I'm very deprived. I need her and Deonna to beat down Thunder. What are we waiting for? Toni,
But you
I'm
gotta get
sorry.
Thunder.
I'll tell you after this is over. I have a good Thunder story for you. That is the reason why I
Uh
am
oh.
hashtag
Is DMD being bigger than Ricky
no.
Starks? No, I don't think so. I just feel like, for example, to me, the way I see it, when Britt was in this women's division, it's a different women's division now. So when Britt Baker was in here, because at that time they needed to fill in the gaps with all the ladies that they could, and she was one of those people that was there to fill in those gaps. Right now, we have so many women that they don't need her in the same type of role. If that makes sense, she's a role model, of course, but she doesn't need the same type of role because she's not filling in those gaps anymore because we haven't stacked women's division now. So it's like, how do you find your footing in a division that's basically built up now versus when you were here was getting built? So it definitely is a different kind of feel to it. So I definitely wonder how I saw her just eyes. Um, so I definitely think like it's just a matter of like how does she fit in there now when it's different from where she was in here. That's how I see it. It's a matter of like she was there when that we had ladies that didn't have a lot of experience, which we have now. Those ladies have more experience now, or we have veterans that have been there for quite a while that are part of the company now. So it's like, how do you find that moment for her to get in there and get involved in there somehow? So I feel like that's something like that dynamic is something they have to figure out sooner or later, and they probably haven't figured it out with her yet. Because if you said first she was there to take care of Adam Cole looks like he's okay, and then it's the injury, and then she looks like she's like all completely and jacked up. So it's like it's definitely not the injury anymore. It makes me wonder if it's definitely that kind of built up thing of creative. They need to find a way for her to fit in there, and just they probably don't have one yet. But
I think the
that's
other
just
thing
my point of view.
too is the last time, well, Britt wrestled a couple times without Jamie when Jamie was hurt, but like things were like you saw kind of a different Britt. Britt was a baby face. Britt wasn't really getting a lot of wins. She was more on the L side. So I also think too they're waiting for Jamie because we haven't heard anything about her. So I feel like the two of them are waiting for each other. I don't know if we're waiting more for Jamie or we're waiting more for Britt. But I think the two of them are going to come back together. I just don't know when. I don't like. I could see them honestly doing something with the Owen, like maybe Britt or Jamie, like has like they announce like a match, or Britt's like, oh, I want to go in the Owen, or something like that. Maybe we get Britt versus Deonna in the first round of the Owen. They finally get the match that they've wanted. Maybe we go that route. But I'm deprived. I texted Sean yesterday. I'm like, can you give me good Britt Baker news? He said she's not there, and I'm like, well,
Uh,
it's over. Gonna go cry in my corner now.
I'm like, at least with the Owen Hart Cup, at least you can make somebody kind of like a surprise thing and make it like a question mark and make you think of like, oh, people are gonna wonder somebody debut or somebody coming back, and maybe you bring her back that way because she was part of it before. So it's like I feel like that's
First winner.
one route, maybe, but we'll see about that. Um, so this was the first out of three main events that we had officially. Our second main event of the night was Swerve Strickland versus Christian Cage, and this is when my stream started going off, so I missed a couple of things, but I like the part of having here. I think if I'm not mistaken, it was Nick Wayne that threw the championship at Prince Nana. So Prince Nana would get kicked out, and then not too long after we get Kill Switch and Nick and Mother Wayne, as I like to call her, getting kicked out as well. So in the end, it ended up being 1-on-1, which is nice to see as well. I feel like it was, I don't want to say a regular match, but it just felt like nothing stood out to me in this aspect. But it was a good match. I really enjoyed the match and the pacing between both of them. But it doesn't come to a surprise that Swerve retains.
I wasn't looking forward to this match originally. I don't know, like I just felt Christian was the best we could do with the first title defense. Really? Like I don't know who I would have put here instead of Christian, but I was just like, why? Like storyline wise, yes. Realistic wise, no. This match was okay. I mean, I felt like Swerve could have had a better opponent to do this with. But to that defense though, Christian is a veteran. Listen, I work with his agent. I've never worked with him, but I work with his agent, so I can't do anything wrong. But I don't know. I just felt like things could have been better here. I would have looked more forward to the world title match if it was not Christian. But Swerve went. I thought Hangman Adam Page was going to come out here and confront Swerve, and then he'll enter the Casino Gauntlet match on Wednesday, and then like him and Swerve at Forbidden Door was the route I thought we were going to go. We didn't do that. So I don't know who's going to wrestle. I think whoever, I know there's going to be like people from like CMLL and New Japan. So I think like whoever a surprise is going to win that Casino Gauntlet match to face Swerve.
Yeah, this was one of the two matches where I was wondering where Hangman was going to return, and the second one was definitely in the next match, which was the third main event of the night, which was the Anarchy in the Arena, aka the hot mess of the Anarchy in the Arena, because the first couple of shots that they gave us, the camera changing back and forth, it didn't help me at all because I'm like trying to figure out who's where. And like having the shots changing so quickly didn't help me at all. When I was trying to like, oh wait, we see Nick. I was like, no, we see Bryan. I was like, okay, which one is it? I can't do it. So I like the beginning of this was really entertaining because we do have the Bucks saying, we're gonna start this match with a banger. And say, I like this compliment to Mikey Ruckus first of all because he does have bangers. But first he's like, we're gonna do a banger. We're gonna put our theme song. So they play their theme song for quite a bit of time. And then, well, first they cut off Matthew. I can't say Matthew Jackson cut off Darby's theme song for theirs. Basically, that was the first thing. And then we have Bryan come in. He's like, no, we're gonna cut this off. We're gonna put actual real music, and we get the final countdown, which I love to hear as this is happening. I was like, imagine you getting beat up to the final countdown. Like, how poetic is that?
Goals, some would say.
That was just amazing to like watch. I really enjoyed that. So it just made me laugh a lot, to be honest. And then, yeah, as SCG is saying, we get Matthew coming in and say, cut it out because we are on a budget and this is costing like $200,000 for us playing it. So cut it off. And then they cut off. But I love the crowd going, we want music, because it just cut off and they had any more music after this. But it was entertaining having the music in the background. You're getting beat up. It felt like it was very entertaining in that aspect. Yeah, there's just so many things of what I can remember. First, there's a moment that Darby he basically has, I want to call it, it's like, I don't want to call it diving, but he just like put Perry inside the water and just left him in there for a bit. I was kind of scared for him in that aspect. It's like, don't do that to me ever, please, anybody. And then we get Jack Perry with the scapegoat minivan, and he ran over Darby. And then he's the way he landed, like in the car in the main event, the way he landed after the crash. I thought Hangman Page is coming out of the minivan from there, so I was expecting that to happen because they show Perry just like over like that, and I thought, oh, they're gonna show us like opening the minivan, and here's gonna come out like I beat him up, and then nothing happened. They just go back to the arena. I was like, okay, you're gonna show us something else? Nothing. But when we get Jack Perry coming back, he is all wet, obviously head to toe, and then he's about to go in the arena to continue with the match, but then he looks over and he sees TK with his headphones on, like the way Kimmy has them on. So he definitely dragged TK to the front, to the point that this is when Darby has a flamethrower, and Darby does a flamethrower on Jack Perry, and then we get the Bucks here with the extinguishers to take him out, and TK just stumbled upon all the way to the ring. I don't know if you saw that clip of him falling down all the way down to the ring. I thought it was pretty funny, just like rolling down. It's like, yeah. And then we had another part that Nick put. My brother calls it the Cody Vader because it's just the elevator that Cody used to have. So Nick, he has puts Darby in there, asked somebody to put it down, and then they close it down with the LED board. So we don't see Darby for quite a bit up until he comes back at the flamethrower at this point. Again, that was just another one that was pretty funny to watch. The only part that really just took me that I was so concerned was the way when they tied up Darby upside down. I was so afraid. Even if it was like that little bit. I know it's Darby and he probably doesn't care, but I care. And it's like seeing it there, and it's like he was there for a little bit too long, and the match kept happening to the point that the crowd started chanting, "Please help Darby." And Danny was trying to pull him down, but that's when Perry came in. He did the knee to the side of the head to Bryan to win the match. So we get Jack Perry pinning Bryan Danielson. This is something I never thought I would say out loud, to be honest. But this is a little bit of what I can remember with all this madness. Oh, we do have the super kick with the pumps that happened as well, with their pumps and uh, the stacks. And the chair that exploded was another thing that happened too. So that's what I can remember from everything, because there was so many things happening throughout this match. It's hard to remember everything.
So when I was at Double or Nothing last year, it was like my first time actually seeing an Anarchy in the arena match in person. That shit is so hard to follow in person. Like, I do not recommend. I hate it because there's so much going on and you're missing stuff because you have stuff going all around the arena. Like, the whole spot with Jack and Darby, they were outside in the parking garage. Or they had, I believe it was Dax and Matt who were fighting in like the concourse as well. So you're trying to watch the Tron, but you're also trying to watch what else is going on around you. It is a lot. And I don't know, there's no way you could fix it, but it's so hard to watch. And this was no different. The thing with the Darby spot, I had said this to Astra before we got on. Martha Hart was in the building. Would not have done it with her in the building. I don't care if you asked her. That should not have happened because, like, you had that nice promo talking about how it was the 25th anniversary at the buy-in, and then you do that.
Yep.
Really? No, that I hope someone on the scrum is asking Tony Khan about that because that was ridiculous in my opinion. Other than that, I did like the exploding chair. Last year we saw Matt with the exploding Jordan, and I have those Jordans. Those Jordans were $200, and he had his explode. I would not have done that. I like how Bryan took Matt's shoe off and then starts hitting him with the thumbtack shoe. I thought that was really creative. The flamethrower spot, obviously after Wednesday, we all knew it was going to happen. One of the first questions Tony Khan answered on the media call this week was, yes, Darby does have a permit for the flamethrower. It was not random. You do have to have a permit for that. And we were like, is this a real question on the media scrum? If this guy has like, what? And so we're like, okay, so he's going to have this on Sunday. Why does he have a permit for this? I don't think anyone knows. But I thought this match is the best it could have done. I wish I would have said in my predictions that Blood and Guts was going to happen with these two teams because I feel like that's where we're going. That's where the faces are going to win. Obviously, that's 5-on-5, so I'm assuming maybe Hangman Adam Page joins the Elite or like have another foe. And I don't know who joins Team AEW. Daniel Garcia had been tweeting about it. He said, if I had to pick a team, I'd be on Team AEW. He saved FTR a couple weeks ago, so maybe we go that route. But this had to be an event because of how chaotic it was and how people almost died.
It's like the exploding chair shot had more explosions than the Omega Moxley exploding barbed wire ring deck. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It was just. I think the only time I really liked the cameras is just when they had the screen with all 4 cameras and it said Anarchy in the arena in the middle. Like I would have done that and kept that going, but then 2 of them were already on Bryan. It's like no, just go around and to everybody. You can split it in that sort of way. And I like the split camera there because even though it's smaller, you could obviously see everything at the same time, and I really like that because there were moments like after the main event, for example, when the main event happened, I was like, okay, can we go back to the main event, see what happened to Perry? Is he alive? Is he okay? What is happening? And it was like he walks up and I was like, okay, at least he's fine. So he's walking by, and even my brother said, he's like, he's a little bit too wet. I bet you they're gonna bring the flamethrower in here, and he has some kind of liquid to light up and everything. So the way I'm glad that at least with the timing, the box were there right away with extinguisher to like it wasn't too long where he wasn't with the fire, but it's like it was real fire. Crimea River. Yes, I had to say it.
I saw your tweet about that. I was dying. I was like, yes. But I'd actually thought when Jack grabbed Toni, I said this in my predictions, I thought Toni was actually going to get involved and Toni was going to help Team AEW win. Kind of happy they didn't go with that because we all would have known the discourse on Twitter of Tony Khan getting involved.
Yeah, I thought it was funny the way he just kept rolling down the apron and the ramp as that had happened at the end, though. I thought it was really funny. But either way, it's one of those, like, I feel bad for the headphones, though, because I could see the cable they were hanging on from what he was doing because of the way, I'm like, you should have disconnected them knowing that the spot was happening. But he didn't. But either way, I I had an idea this was going to be the last match because it was the one that makes the most like mess if you think about it that way. So it's like, how do you clean this up and then have a match right after this? It wouldn't have made sense to put like the world title right after this, for example. So it's like it makes sense why it really closed up for the night, because with all the mess happening, just leave it like that and end the night with it. So it did make sense with that being the last one. Again, there was a lot of like, to me, there was moments, for example, at least for tonight, that Willow and Mercedes, for example, for me was better in that aspect from like the crowd reaction, the energy from the crowd, than Toni and Serena. So there was those moments that were really like up and down for me. And even though the crowd was split weekend, let's go Willow and the CEO chance, and I love how split the crowd was between both of them there. But overall, I like the card. I like most of the matches. I like we mentioned throughout the show. There was a couple that I could have done without, that I could have put on a weekly show. But it just, what happens when they have a big pay per view. They're supposed to last until midnight, and that's why it's 2 a.m. and we're still here. But overall, I feel like it was a good show. It kept my energy up. I'm tired now because it just went up for like a little bit far too long for me. I'm used to like the pay per views ending at like 10 or 11, not at midnight. So, like I said, it's only happened to me once with WWE, and I was there in person, so that didn't help. But overall, just like I feel like a lot going on here. I'm interested to see what happens with Willow and Chris Statlander going forward with this too. And I kept thinking of something that I mentioned when you were talking to. It reminded me that I was thinking too, when you think about the TBS Championship, like you mentioned, we go back to, it went from Jade to Statlander and then Julia Hart. And then from Julia, it didn't go back to Statlander. It went to Willow instead. So I feel like that's something that she could bring up later too, the moment of like, you were the one that went against Julia. You're the one that got the title from Julia. That could have been me because I was champion before she was. So I definitely am interested to see what happens there. I just hoping, like, I don't want to wait until Rampage to hear about it, but we'll see what happens because it is AEW, so you never know. Interested in looking forward to what MJF says with Adam Cole moving forward. Just I hope they don't take too long just to get to the point. That'll be my only thing. But overall, I feel like it was a fun weekend of wrestling between King and Queen of the Ring and Double or Nothing. And yeah, it was like I'm glad I'm off from work tomorrow, so I can enjoy the pay per view today and not watching while I'm working and enjoy it as it was happening live. So that was nice to see. But I want to thank first Get the Tables and Mike the Ref for the rates, and Miss Kimmy from being here from her busy schedule before she goes on her vacation. So it was very nice of her to show up and be here with us. SCG, let's hope Adam Cole doesn't get
don't
injured again
scare
along the
me
way.
like that. Why do we gotta put that bad? Listen, I've never met someone as injury prone as Adam. Like, we talk about Darby. This man was hurt, wrestled hurt, came back, jumped. I was there at Grand Slam and I said it right away. I remember I was with my podcast guy and Rob's like, no, he's fine. I'm like, Rob, no, he's hurt. No, he's not. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, he's sitting in the ring and MJF's cutting the promo after the show's over. You really think this is kayfabe now? But yeah, I was happy to be here. It was. I mean, you're not wrong though.
You're never wrong.
I thought the card was decent. It had its ups, had its downs, the typical AEW show, and I just hope that we have a strong build to Forbidden Door, because usually that is what I call the AEW cursed pay-per-view, because injuries, sickness, everything changes for that show. So I'm just hoping that Toni has a stress-free ride to get there, and because it's in Long Island, it's in New York. So I'm hyped. I'm probably going. So I want a smooth ride to Forbidden Door.
And for those of you that, if you haven't seen it with the ticker down below that we had here throughout the show, follow us on social media if you haven't yet. We're on Twitter. You can see us on TikTok as well. If you're watching on YouTube, please click on the bell to get notified whenever we upload and go live, and click on that subscribe button. We're there. We have over 400 subscribers now. We're aiming towards the 500 now, so that's our next goal. If you're on Twitch, definitely hit the follow button. It doesn't hurt you, and you get notified whenever we go live. Please do that. We would appreciate that. Anytime you're in the shows, obviously be here in the chat. Like SCG has been with us pretty much all night, commenting on everything. We like to be able to discuss everything happening in the show with you guys, whether we agree or disagree. We like to discuss everything on the show. But again, I want to thank Miss Kimmy here for being with me here before she goes on her vacation. It was an honor to have her before her vacation. But aside from your vacation, what else do you have going on, Miss Kimmy?
an honor before I go to Aruba and I forget about everything for 5 days and then something's gonna happen. I'm gonna be like, oh my god, I got shit to do now. So you can follow me on Twitter at Kimmy_Sokol, and you can follow me on Instagram. I don't know why I did it differently. I don't know. But yeah, there's an underscore and a dot. So you can follow me there. I write for thepopbreak.com. I basically cover the entire wrestling section. It is all me, 24/7, 365. There's a bunch of crap on there. You could read my predictions. I'm not doing the review, someone else is, but check out my shit there. It's fun. I review Ring of Honor every week on PW Insider. I cry for an hour and a half on Thursdays because Tony Khan likes to kill me and make me really angry about his programming. But other than that, obviously the most fun thing I do is I work on the convention scene. I work with all your favorite AEW superstars. So my next con is actually River City in Florida. I will be working with Bull Nakano and Jim Ross. Hopefully Jim Ross gets out of the hospital so we can come to the convention. Me and the promoter are a little scared about it. Mariah May's going to be there. Trish, Sting, whole bunch of talent's going to be there. So go to rivercitywrestlingcon.com. Guests are there. I know that they're doing really good on sale. So if you're in the Florida area, go check that out. That's my only con for the moment because next week I have an announcement of something really big's coming. So yes, I'm announcing something on vacation. I'm really excited for it.
I was gonna say you're close, but yet so far at the same time. STG has a question for you. Do you have a preferred brand of wrestling, Kimmy?
I feel like it has to be AEW because I work with most of the people on that brand and I like seeing them thrive and succeed. So AEW all day, every day.
/ Ring of Honor, let's be specific on that too.
Yes, but again, Ring of Honor just likes to make me cry. Like, where's the cry meter for me and Collins to cry about Ring of Honor? Because Tony Khan doesn't care about it. Where's our champs?
Here you have it at your request.
That's mine. That is literally mine every Thursday. Thank you.
No, I love the dedication here. For mine, Tony has a brand that doesn't push it. Well,
exactly.
Yeah,
he's not wrong.
You can hear them cry about it on Thursdays because that's what usually happens. And then for mine, if I could find it, here we go. For mine, you can find me. I have both of them at the same time. This is not working out great. See, well, this is why I don't do buttons. So here we go. So for mine, if you go on my YouTube channel, I do have a King and Queen of the Ring predictions. I do have the Double or Nothing predictions, and obviously this is gonna be up on my channel as well. So I'm glad I had Kimmy with me tonight, so she could be my YouTube channel now. Yay! You can find my Astro Dance episodes so far. So I have the Stunner, Emily J. I have Top Tier Jasmine Allures coming up too on my YouTube channel, and then I have the Real Deal, Say the Steel, and Taking Over. I do have Taking Over with Ed on Tuesday, discussing all about NXT on the road to Battleground. And we had such a great weekend here in OLE because we had Ella and Mark for King and King of the Ring. If you haven't seen that poster, go back and watch it. We had our mental health episode as well with Ella, and now we had Kimmy to close it out for the weekend for Double or Nothing. So look at the great lineup of guests that we have for this whole weekend. You can find me though on Twitter and Blue Sky as Astrid Pizarro, and Instagram and Threads Astrid Pizarro 20. And like I said, you can find me again on Tuesday doing Taking Over with Ed. And it says Ed fired. No, Ed is not fired. Ed was sick last week, so Jose helped me out last minute by being on the show with me. So that's another guest that we had this whole week as well. So Ed will be back this week as he's feeling better. And as you, thanks, gals. Great listening to you both. Thank you for being here all night with us. We appreciate the support of you being here in the chat and having a good back and forth here between us, a civil back and forth, as I like to call it. I'm going to be playing our weekly calendar again so that way you know what's happening throughout the week in OLE. And then we're out here for the night. Thank you, Kimmy, again. And everybody, have a good night.
Hurricane, a tidal